interrupting me? Lord Halifax, the approach you propose is not only futile, but involves us in a deadly danger.
The deadly danger here is the romantic fantasy of fighting to the end. What is the end if not the destruction of all? There's nothing inglorious in going down fighting if it can be avoided. Nothing inglorious in trying to shorten a war that we are clearly losing. Europe is lost. May 9th, 1940. Hitler has invaded Czechoslovakia, Poland, and Denmark. 3 million German troops are now poised on the edge of the Belgian border, ready to conquer the rest of Europe.
In Britain, Parliament has lost faith in its leader, Neville Chamberlain. The search for a replacement has already begun.
In The Darkest Hour screenplay by Anthony McCarten, the fate of World War II hangs on Winston Churchill, who must not only deal with the opposition who wants to remove him, but must also decide whether or not to negotiate with Adolf Hitler or fight on, knowing it could mean the end of the British Empire.
And now, Darkest Hour by Anthony McCarten.
Order! Order! The honorable leader of the opposition, Clement Attlee.
Mr. Speaker, it seems I have not been clear enough. Then let me leave no doubt regarding my feelings as Chamberlain's future as Prime Minister. Owing to his years of inactivity and incompetence, we find him personally responsible for leaving our nation ruinously unprepared for the present Nazi peril. We are at war, Mr. Speaker, at war, and he has proven himself incapable of leading us in war times. In the country's interest, man, resign, step down, and let us find a new leader. The Honorable Prime Minister, Winston Churchill.
Mr. Speaker, it must be remembered that we are in the preliminary stages of one of the greatest battles in history. Sir, I take up my task with hope and say to the House, I have nothing to offer but blood, toils, tears, and sweat. We have before us an ordeal of the most grievous kind. We have before us many long months of toil and of struggle. You ask, what is our policy? Well, I say it is to wage war by land, sea, and air, with all the might and all the strength that God can give us. That's our policy. You ask, well, what is our aim? I can answer that in only one word. Victory. Victory at all costs. Victory in spite of terror. Victory whatever the cost may be. For without victory, there can be no survival.
Halifax, we must do something. Our policy is to wage war at all costs. No survival. Winston is incapable of pronouncing the word peace, let alone engage in peace offerings.
Awful. The thought that I shall never see my country in peace again. Winston must be removed from office.
How?
Votes of no confidence.
Yes. If we can get him to declare that he refuses any negotiated peace with Germany, then perhaps you and I will have the grounds to resign. That will force a vote of no confidence in his leadership, and he'll be finished.
And would you agree to be Prime Minister?
With Winston out of the way, who can say? But the important thing, Neville, is that your policies of peace and protection of this nation would be back on the table.
General Ironside, what is the latest report?
As of 2200 hours last night, German forces have encircled 60 Belgian, British, and French divisions. On our part, all forces under Lord Gorge have now withdrawn, or are trying to withdraw, to the French coast, where we cannot reach them.
How many of our men are trapped?
All of them, sir, are entire nation's professional soldiery, and we can see no clear way to rescue them.
General, are you telling me that we shall have lost the entire British army by the next few days?
That's correct. The German forces are superior in every regard, and they are pushing us into the sea.
They must not reach the sea, not before we evacuate our men.
Prime Minister,
Yes, Halifax, what is it?
I have reservations about such a faithful course when we have the options of peace offerings.
What peace offerings?
The Italians have offered to mediate between ourselves and Germany, and I indicated that provided our liberty and independence were assured, we would consider any proposal.
With Hitler holding the whip at hand, do you really think he would honor our liberty and independence?
It would be in his interest to do so.
The only thing to do is to show that maniac that he cannot conquer this country! And for that we need an army! We must hold our nerves and signal only that we will fight it out until the end. A peace offer only telegraphs our weakness. And let us avoid being dragged down the slippery slope of a talk of negotiated peace.
Slippery slope. The only slippery
One of the
slope.
people involved in negotiations that we speak on it.
Only slippery slope.
Will you stop interrupting me while I'm interrupting you? The approach you propose is not only futile, but involves us in a deadly danger.
The deadly danger here is not the romantic fantasy of fighting to the end. What is the end, if not the destruction of all? There is nothing remotely patriotic in death or glory if the odds are on the former. Nothing inglorious in trying to shorten a war that we are clearly losing.
Europe
is lost. And before our nation's entire professional soldiery is wiped out completely, this is the time to negotiate in order to obtain the best conditions possible. It would not be in Hitler's interest to insist on outrageous terms. He knows his weaknesses. He will be reasonable.
Halifax, when will the lesson be learned? How many more dictators must be wooed, appeased, good gosh, given immense privileges before we learn that you cannot reason with a tiger when your head is in its mouth?
Winston, if you will not allow any further exploration of peace agreements, then you will have my resignation.
Don't be upset, Edward. I need you. You know I need you.
I will not stand by to watch another generation of young men die at the bloody altar of your hubris.
And you have a science left.
The choice is yours. You have 24 hours to enter into peace agreements, or you will have my resignation. The Honorable Prime Minister, Winston Churchill.
Turning once again to the question of invasion or surrender, I have myself full confidence that if all do their duty, if nothing is neglected, and if the best preparations are made, we shall once again be able to defend our island home, to ride out the storm of war, and to outlive the menace of tyranny. Even though many old and large and famous states have fallen into the grip of the Gestapo and all the hideous apparatuses of the Nazi rule, we shall not flag or fail. We shall fight on until the end. We shall fight in the hills. We shall fight with growing strength and growing confidence in the air. We shall fight on, whatever the cost may be. We will fight in the cities. We shall fight in the landing ground, in the streets, in the air. We shall